up, guys? I'm Matt Reisinger.
I'm Peter Scott with Jim Scott & Sons, and we are in Dallas, Texas.
That's right. This is the Build Show Live Tour House. Peter's team did an amazing job. We're about to give you the tour that you missed. The show is actually 2 days from now, so we got some job site stuff that's going to move. But we're about to show you a house that's literally going to blow your mind. I've never seen this type of install before. I've seen a few slides with this famous building scientist, Joe Stiebrick, who's done this, but this is the first time I've seen it in person. So, you ready for a little tour?
This has been so fun. Let's do it.
All right, Build Show Live. Let's get going.
When you get out here, you actually see all the intricate details that you miss when you're just watching a video or you're doing a training. You can see all the little different finite things that you can do. So I do like being out here because I get to talk with the builders, all the contractors, and also get to meet the people that are experts in the industry.
What I loved about this house was the unique approach to the exterior wall assembly. I absolutely love the approach. It's a great attempt to look for progressive ways to build more energy efficient homes in an affordable manner. And that's probably an issue that we all face as builders.
The 2025 Build Show Live VIP Home Tours.
So, Peter, what do we have going on? Where are we and what is this house? Just give us a quick background.
All right, so we are in the heart of Dallas.
Yeah, we're just like a couple miles from downtown, right?
Right in a little community called Lakewood.
Yep.
My family lives in Lakewood. We love it. We purchased this lot. It's actually a spec. Most of what we do is custom.
Okay.
But we purchased this lot and took down a house and started the design process, honestly, before you and I even started talking about this.
Yeah, so this is new construction that you're seeing here. Infill lot right near downtown Dallas. Now, the house looks pretty traditional from the plan set.
It is.
But what I'm seeing here is not traditional construction.
Not at all. It's pretty innovative. But when we're all done, this house is for sale, shameless plug.
Yeah, that's right.
But when we're done, it's going to look really beautiful, transitional, timeless, with some really sophisticated technology behind the walls.
Yeah, so mostly stucco facade. We've got some 2-foot overhangs. We've got a pretty, what I would call transitional architecture, right? Some traditional, but some modern as well. But let's kind of walk you through the layers because this is going to blow your mind a little bit. First off, you're seeing this gray board. This is called Hydro Block. Here's a quick sample of it. It's they come in different sizes. It is an insulating board. I think this is like our 2.2.
Exactly.
Something like that. And they make some different sizes. This can be used in showers. And in fact, it looks like that's where this company got their start.
That's correct.
Was waterproofing showers. So this is a totally waterproof board. I don't know what the secret sauce is on this gray material, but it appears to have a fiberglass mesh embedded in here. And this is gonna end up being a 2-coat synthetic stucco system. I've done a bunch of 2-coats in years past. I've never done this particular 2-coat system before, but Peter, you probably already know this. The big benefit is crack reduction.
Correct.
Almost crack proof. They probably don't say that word crack proof.
Nobody wants to say 100%.
But severe reduction in cracks, right? So when you've got a base like this, even if there's a little bit of wall movement, you're not going to see that translate through into your stucco. Whereas traditional 3-coat stucco is a cementitious exterior. It's usually about 3/4 of an inch thick of a cementitious product. So stucco is prone to crackage, and that's why we do control joints whenever we're using traditional stucco. But this, no control joints needed, which also is kind of neat. It gives
It's incredible. It also cuts out, sometimes this application without the Hydro Block can be a 5 to 7 step system, which is apply, let it dry, and it could be, this is cutting out 4 days?
Yeah, several days of the process. So this board is attached. Now here's the part where it gets a little bit out of the ordinary. It's attached to 2x4s. Let's go around the corner so you can kind of see a little better the assembly. What you've got going on here is Peter's team framed this house with Monopoly framing. So if we can rewind time and show you what this looked like just at the end of framing, how do you explain Monopoly framing to people that are like, now what's the deal here? Why are there no overhangs on the house?
So the benefit that we get in a Monopoly frame is we're allowed to bring our sheathing wall all the way up And then our decking system, in this case, it's Huber Zip.
Yep, all zip.
They're able to meet and be mitered to literally be meeting each other, and we're able to get or zip tape directly on that seam. So typically, we're not getting that application when we're having our overhang included outside of the Monopoly frame. And so
if our rafters are poking through our top plate,
we have all these penetrations.
That's right, we have a ton of penetrations to seal. So in this case, Peter's team framed it with Monopoly framing. Full zip on the outside, fully taped, a big green box in effect. That's kind of where I got the name originally, Monopoly, from, because it was a green box, no overhangs. But here's where things get different. You attached these InSoFast X brackets on top of the sheathing. Talk me through that bracket.
So I've got, I'm able to apply this directly to a stud. The fastener is a simple nail.
Yep.
So I'm able to fasten it to our studs, 16-inch on center.
Yep.
And then I'm able to run what you're seeing here is our 2x4 simple stringers, which gives me this, I'm guessing a little over 4 inches.
Yeah.
And then I also have the 2x4 that's proud of this bracket. So all in, I'm almost to 6 inches, would allowed us to get 2 to 4 inches of closed cell foam on the exterior, monolithic. It's
all the way from the foundation to the roof.
That's right.
That is pretty sweet. They make these in different sizes, by the way. Here's a smaller size too, so depending on your application, you can get these in different sizes. And these are pretty amazing because they can be glued. Let's say if you were attaching these to cinder block or concrete wall, they could actually be structurally glued with a polyurethane adhesive. And if you look tight, real tight on there, there's actually kind of a pyramid, upside down pyramid shape, which gives you an adhesive bond for that glue if you were gluing these. But they're also structural in that I can nail or screw these. So just the pneumatic nail gun is all you needed here. And then this big flat surface is what the 2x on the vertical and the 2x4s on the roof.
That's correct.
Got structurally attached to, again, just with nail guns.
That's right.
Just a pneumatic
really
nail
simple.
gun. And then your foam crew came after that was installed. There's a core vent strip at the base that you installed before the foam, with the idea being this foam is basically taking up that space, but still you're gonna notice there's an air gap back there. If I could shine my flashlight through, you can see that we've left an air gap back there. So look, the light is coming behind the 2x4. So now, if any water gets through this space back here, it's got a ventilated air gap that runs from the foundation all the way up to the ridge line.
That's right.
You've also given us the extra ventilation at the soffits, which I appreciate.
Thank you.
We've got a vented Hardy right there, but we also have a vented ridge cap eventually going on. So this is a pretty bomber system.
We're really happy with it. And it's just honestly been relatively easy to install.
Yeah.
My entire team installing this is the first for us. And so just as an advocate for high performance builds, it's been a really, it's going to perform at a high level, but also a relatively easy install.
For sure. Now, this is a little harder to see because this is buried in the wall right now, but this also got installed and you're seeing the tubing stick out right now. What's happening here is if water were to get into this joint right here by the window, you can actually feel the top of this right here. This is a gutter, basically, for lack of a better term, so that if water gets in at the base of the window, it has a weep tube for that water to weep out. And all that's gonna happen is this is just gonna weep right into this ventilated air gap space. And we've got a big space. Now, a couple things that are interesting about this, Peter, you may not have known this, but in the 2024 codes now, they give us the option for no insulation, only exterior insulation, and your house meets code on that.
It does.
We're in climate zone 3. In climate zone 3, R25 on the rooftop, you can actually do nothing on the inside. And I suspect you're actually over that amount. You've got about 3.5 inches of closed cell here. So we're right at R25, but there's some places where it's probably a little thicker.
Correct.
So we're probably averaging R26, R27, 28, something like that.
That's my guess.
But what the deal is here is there's no thermal bridging. We've totally eliminated it. This is, you think of this house as like an upside down Yeti cooler, basically, where that foam is continuous on the whole outside of the house. Pretty amazing system.
We're happy with it, and it's really performing well already.
Pretty cool. Let's go back to the Hydro Block real quick. So this board is actually a structural board. I forget the poundages they showed on the website, but you can't, like, look, I weigh 180 pounds and I'm having a hard time flexing this as I push on it. It's pretty beefy. Where we've got fasteners, they need to be sunk just below the board. And then where there's foam showing, we're gonna do a mesh tape on top of that. And there's several different manufacturers of base coat that you can choose from this. And we could just flash over the screws and mesh tape this and the seams, or we could do a full base coat, which I think is what you're gonna do
That's
here.
correct.
And then they've got a single component finished product that's color integral.
Correct.
Which is what we commonly refer to as a synthetic stucco in the industry. So it's basically a troweled on elastomeric paint. Kind of think of it as almost a soupy finish that's somewhere between paint and caulk and stucco. And it's got a sand in it that's kind of a medium coarse look. So no one's gonna come up to it and even touch it and not know that it's traditional three-coat stucco.
That's correct.
It's a really good substitute visually. But what's really interesting for me as a builder about it is that crack reduction.
That's right.
I really like that. I can't tell you how many issues I've had with cracks that I had to explain. Look, Mr. Client, this is like a sidewalk on your house. It's concrete, and there's two types of concrete. If you're a builder, you know the joke I'm about to say. There's concrete that's cracked, and there's concrete that's going to crack. And the same is true with traditional stucco. There's stucco that's cracked, and there's stucco that's going to crack. So with this system, to be able to reduce that by a pretty wide margin, very impressive.
And not having to use control joints, which are on these stucco houses always a design intent. We're trying to line it up with something. We don't have to worry about that at all with this.
Totally. On the back of the house, we do have some siding, which would work with this batten system as well. You could really kind of do any cladding on top of this. But again, I like that this stucco has a ventilation space. Anybody watching this, if you're in a climate that's over 20 inches of annual rainfall, it's best practice to have not just a drainage space, but an air gap. And the bigger the air gap, the better. Traditionally, we like to see at least 3/4 of an inch. This is way deeper than 3/4 of an inch. We got, an inch, 2 inches, at least an inch and a half to the back of the 2x4. So we've got a really good ventilation space.
That's great.
Let's walk around the corner and let's show you the inside. So you've got most of the board in already at this point. It's kind of a minor detail to think about, but guys, where you see these windows and this board isn't installed yet, we can actually double up the board or use a thicker board if we want to intersect with the windows. And then when we walk in the front door here, now you can see we don't have to insulate this house if we want to. You've got around R25 continuous on the outside, so you really don't need it. The new code calls for R10 on the outside, and if you have R10 continuous, then you can do 0 on the inside.
I'm real tempted to just have absolutely none.
You're 2.5 times what code requires.
Correct.
So I would say you really don't need it. If you wanted to, you could put some. And at this point, I would say we probably want to have a vapor open product. Like I wouldn't do closed cell on the inside now, no matter what climate you're in. But fiberglass bats, mineral wool bats, even open cell foam could be something that you could consider for the inside. Man, look at that beautiful fireplace, by the way.
Isokern.
Isokern, baby. We put a lot of these in. For somebody who doesn't know what an isokern is, how do you explain this?
So we've been building for, long answer, but we've been building for over 50 years. And so when I was a kid, we were building masonry fireplaces out of brick.
Yep.
And oftentimes we're using dual-sided. And so with this, it is 1/4 of the weight.
Yeah.
It's still, we're getting the benefits of a masonry fireplace, but the install, both the space, like we're able to put these in much smaller spaces.
Yep.
We're not having to have the pier structure on the foundation like we used to. And then also the aesthetic. I mean, how they have their fire bricks, there are so many different options.
Yeah, once you put your
Herringbone
surround on
stacked.
here and you see those fire bricks, you have no idea that's not a traditional
That's
masonry
correct.
fireplace that an old guy mason who'd been around forever had built because it looks so perfect. But in fact, this is a lightweight pumice stone. It goes together kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, which is really cool. It's relatively lightweight and easy to move around on the job site. It's real masonry though. This is not fake. This is not some crappy metal firebox that you've seen me talk about how much I hate. This is the real deal. We can burn wood in this bad boy.
That's correct.
You've got a log lighter going in there. And then it's got a double-walled, I believe that's a stainless chimney if I remember correctly. But this is double thick, right? This is double-walled. Where that exits or where that penetrates the building, though, we do need to be cautious about not spray foaming right up against this flue. That would not meet code. So what you're typically going to see is where that meets the fire block, which you're seeing right there. Usually you'll see a bead of a fire rated caulking.
Correct.
Basically at that, which is a high temperature type product. But these work great. One tip though for you, because this house is so tight, two things that you might consider. You might consider using a chimney balloon in there. There's a couple different manufacturers. It's basically like a bladder that can be inflated into that chimney to really seal it off extremely tightly. And the other thing we do need to think about
when it's not being used.
When it's not being used, that's right. We may consider needing some makeup air for that, depending on draw. You're probably gonna have to test it out and see, because I suspect your house at the end is probably with this system, and depending how tight this window and door package is, you're probably easily below 1 ACH 50 on the final blower door. So this is gonna be a tight house.
It is, yep.
It's gonna be a real tight house. Let's walk out to the outside, because I wanna show you something that I think is a big plus for using closed cell foam, and that is right here above our heads. Peter's got just this little space right here, which is a hallway upstairs that needed to be insulated and air sealed. And look at the problem solver that spray foam does for us. It's going right into the band joist area, which is extremely hard to use traditional insulation on. And then it's also sticking perfectly to the underside of your Advantech decking up there.
That's right.
So you've got a continuous and nearly perfect insulation, plus when we get thicker than an inch on closed cell, it's also a really good air barrier.
Correct.
And the beauty of closed cell foam is that it's a vapor barrier, one we get thicker than an inch in both directions. So even if it's super cold out, it's got a vapor barrier on the right side, and even if we're really warm out, it's got a vapor barrier on the right side. So it's really a problem solver. This is a great install. I really like the way you did this. And then if you look around the corner, you'll see his siding also has the rain screen batten on there. So we've got this nice big cavity of ventilation space. He's got that same ventilation at the base, and then he goes up the wall and he's got ventilation at the top as well. Good work, man.
Thank you, thank you.
Love it. Another exterior mounted fireplace here.
That's right, with a raised hearth.
Raised hearth too, I love it. So you can sit outside. Let's go back into the house, guys. I want to show you mechanicals. So let's actually take a tour upstairs, shall we? All right, Peter, what do we want to take a look at on the upstairs?
There's a lot to look at up here. Let's take a look at the cavity sliders.
Ooh, my favorite. I like those.
So,
we'll go up to the attic in a minute, won't we? Because I see all our signs that we got to show these guys.
Yeah. So I'm really, really proud of this product. We have sample slab doors on for the show, so we're able to operate these. But this is an aluminum kit, incredibly easy to install.
Yep.
I think we installed 14 pocket doors in less than a day.
Holy cow,
Yeah,
you got
so-
14 doors in this house.
So we like
That's a lot
pocket
of
doors.
pockets.
We like pocket doors.
They do solve problems.
And then you can see, I'm just gonna give it a little nudge. It's gonna close, soft close.
Oh, baby, look at that.
And then it'll also do the same on,
soft close, soft open.
it's fantastic.
Very nice.
Closet doors are like notorious for maintenance issues.
Yes.
Getting a drywall nail or screw through. It's incredibly durable.
Yeah, that aluminum's really nice and thick too, but look at that. That soft close is what I really like. Ooh, that feels good. I guarantee the homeowners are gonna show that to their friends when they come by. Look at this on my doors.
It just performs so well. And for our friends at Cavity Slider, we also install this is coming down. It's just a mop. But this is what you might see in a typical builder grade home.
Yep.
And it's just gonna operate much differently. It's not gonna help me close. It's not gonna help me open. And
Yeah,
there's
you
a
can-
lot of wiggle room in
And you
here.
can slam this guy too. Watch this. This is
Absolutely.
what usually happens. That's usually
And
the
then it
sounds
pops
that
right back
people hear.
open. Really difficult to keep
And then they're
closed.
making their frames too out of some 2x. They're trying to figure out how to do all this on site. They're screwing their pocket in. You can see this doesn't slide nearly as nice. Yeah, this is a whole different deal.
And the educated homeowner will instantly know the
Pick up
difference
on
between that product and this.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now what the average homeowner is not gonna see is what we're gonna take you guys to next, and that is an attic tour And by the way, it's almost 90 degrees outside, Peter. Oh, we lost our ladder. We gotta get our ladder up. It's almost 90 degrees outside, and I gotta say it's at least 15 degrees cooler inside the house right now, and that's because we've got that solid exterior insulation. Outboard of the zip here, we've got R25. Outboard of that zip system sheathing on the roof, we've also got R25. Pretty awesome. Oh, Peter.
Here we go.
I love a good attic tour. You know me. Mechanicals, my favorite.
This is where all the nerds are going to hang out.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Sure. We got a lot going on up here,
Got a lot. Got a lot.
Let's start with our LG 80-gallon heat pump water here. This is a beast.
It's a beast.
There's a lot of hot water.
Try getting that thing up here.
So this is going to pull ambient air. It's going to take the heat out of here and then dump it into the tank and reject to the outside, this conditioned attic, cool, dehumidified air. Pretty perfect spot to put it.
That's incredible, yeah.
And you're not going to feel it downstairs, which is really nice. So even in summertime, a huge benefit. In the wintertime, you may not want that cold air. So if you put it in the middle of the house, like I've done in the past, sometimes you got to figure out, well, how do I make sure I don't blow cold air on somebody?
Okay.
In the attic, you're never going to have to worry about
that.
Pretty nice. All right, Peter, let's give these guys a tour of the HVAC next up. So what do you got for the main system
So
here?
this is a Carrier Infinity.
Yep.
It's 2-speed, 17 SEER.
Okay.
And it is just a workhorse. We love it. We find that sometimes when you get into the higher SEERs, they really love your maintenance guy. This is just a really efficient system, but works really hard with a lot of low maintenance.
Okay, good to know. And then we've got gas line here, and I'm seeing 2 pipes.
That's correct.
So this is gas heat.
Yep.
Probably 90% efficient
That's
because it's hard piped. By the way, the beauty of those hard pipes is they go through the attic and they're sealed with spray foam on the outside with that closed cell.
That's
so
right.
we got a nice tight assembly. There's no outside air coming in here. It's bringing air to burn, and it's exhausting air that's cool through this pipe. And then you've got a standalone Santa Fe right above there.
What a great product. So we have one of these units on, we have 2 systems in this house, one on each.
And you've chosen to duct this this is the return side, this is the supply side. So it's actually dumping into the supply side of the furnace, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that is the supply side, yes, because, actually I take that back. Yes, that is supply side, because the filter is over here, which you got a giant
massive
filter.
right?
I really, that's going to be a great
That's
filter.
great.
Way to go. Who did your install over here, by the way?
So Performance Air, Ken Davis.
Yes,
Just fantastic.
I've seen Ken's work before.
It's a work of art, what he's done with these duct systems.
He did a great job.
They saddled them correctly.
A lot of rigid duct too, which is hard to tell,
yes.
but this is actually rigid duct that's been insulated on the outside. Same with this right here. This is rigid that's been insulated on the outside. And you have more than one Santa Fe in this house. This is a 98H. Do you have another of that same size?
I do.
Somewhere?
I have it over here on this side. Just pointing out, this is a hard thing to do, what Ken has done. And these saddles are just a phenomenal product to keep that kink out of our ducts. But come over here.
Okay, we're walking
Don't
on the other
fall,
side.
okay?
Be careful, yes, sir. Careful in the attic. Ooh, I want to come back and talk about that. That is actually, can we stop here real quick? While this is exciting. This that you're seeing right here is a junction box, which is actually tied to our ERV.
Correct.
Because we have not one, but two ERVs, which means all of our bathroom exhausts are tied to the ERV. So you don't have probably any exhaust fans in the bathrooms.
That's right.
And he's using this green ductwork in this gray junction box to integrate to this duct here, which is the exhaust side of this ERV. Man, that's cool. I like that. And then I believe he's taking the supply side of this and dumping that into the supply of the furnace.
That's right.
It is.
That's right.
So then the furnace is going to move that air throughout the whole building.
And the distinction between a home that has this ERV system combined with dehumidifier is just night and day difference walking into the comfortability of that home.
Yeah, I do need to make mention for anybody watching, an ERV is not a dehumidifier. And in fact, this will raise the humidity of your house if you're in a hot, humid climate. So anytime you put an ERV in, you must have a dehumidifier. Right. And I would tell you, if you're in climate zone 5 or below, you should be just including a dehumidifier in every build. You're gonna need one in a high performance house.
And even just for liability's sake, even for clients that may not be educated on this level,
Yeah.
just to cover ourselves, we always recommend it if
Yeah.
it's not included in the budget.
Agreed. Let's walk back this way and show them the rest of the system. So this is a duplicate, basically, of what we saw before,
Correct.
right? So this is that same carrier, the same 98H. So we've got 2 dehumidifiers. These are going to be controlled separately. The control wires are not on the board yet.
Right.
So he'll do that at the final, I'm guessing. But the nice thing about those standalone dehumidifiers is they will work independently of the AC system.
That's
so
right.
on a cool fall day where it might be high humidity, but we don't need cooling, this will dehumidifier for you.
That's right.
And again, he's got that giant April air filter down there. And then also take that magnet door off that Santa Fe real quick, will you? Off
This
the,
guy?
yeah. One of the things I really like about the Santa Fe's is look at that giant MERV, at least 10, if not 13 filter that's 2 inches. We got a lot of room on there. Does it actually say? It might
I'm
say
looking.
what it is. It is a MERV 13, yeah. Check that out. So you got a nice MERV 13 filter. You got great filtration on this system. I'm impressed. Great job by Ken and his team. What's he called again? Performance?
Performance Air.
Performance Air. Man, really well done, Peter. Impressive house, dude. Weird to finish here at the house, though. Let's meet you guys downstairs, and I want to show you a view of the back of the house, and we'll wrap up the video. So we'll see you downstairs. Peter, I gotta say, man, the back of the house.
It's beautiful.
It's really pretty. It's all of my nerd friends watching are smiling right now. This is a incredible exterior skin on this house.
Yeah.
That the crazy part is most people who see this house, who come visit, have no idea what's back here.
That's correct.
I'm curious, do you have any words of advice for somebody watching this who's like, oh, I don't know, this seems like a lot of work. I've never done Monopoly framing, or I don't know about these X brackets. This looks difficult.
I think there's 2 audiences. One is the builder or the installer. This is our first time to do this application.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it's some of the very first being done.
Yeah.
And while...
And this is your first Monopoly
It
framing house
is,
too,
yeah,
right?
it is.
Yeah.
I've got some incredibly talented people on my team, but I feel like this is not overly complicated. For the end result, what it's performing, what it's doing, it's absolutely an incredible system. I think it's very intuitive.
Yep.
If you've got a really good framer and installer, they're gonna get this.
Yeah.
We're happy to help out in any way possible, so reach out to us.
That's cool, man. I
I'll
appreciate
also
that.
say, for the end user, the homeowner, we're gonna have to walk them through some of these systems and
Yeah, maybe they'll watch this video at some point.
how we built this house and what the maintenance of this house is gonna be like. But this house is gonna be the best performing house they've ever had.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's been really thoughtful. We really love the high performance and the details that have gone into this, but ultimately really care about people.
Yeah.
And so the homeowners, this is really caring well for them.
It's really healthy and it's really durable.
Yep.
It's what I like about this system. Yes, it will be energy efficient, but it's really focused on durability and it's focused on a really healthy house for these people. And you know, frankly, if you're afraid of spray foam, there are some people that are. There's none on the inside. It's all on the outside
right.
of this building. So it's fully encapsulated and it's also fully vented on the outside. So if the spray foam ever did do something it shouldn't in the future in terms of off-gassing, which I don't believe it will, but if it were to, it's all on the outside of the house. It's all on the back side or the front side of the zip system sheathing, which is also fully taped and sealed.
Correct.
So you've got a bomber house going on here, man.
Well, we appreciate your leadership on it too.
Really impressive. Guys, if you are watching this video and you weren't at Build Show Live to see us, you should come to next year's Build Show Live. We already have plans for the next year and the next couple years, actually. So you can go to buildshowlive.com, inquire about dates and tickets, the whole shebang. It's builders like Peter and I, and like you, that are like-minded, that really want to build a better house than what's normal in your area. And this is the place that like-minded builders meet up, see things that are a little out of the ordinary, see things that are better and thoughtful, but are still built with great craftsmanship, with care for the clients, but in a way that's a little different, right? And not crazy. We're not seeing any materials that are super out of the ordinary.
right.
Maybe the X bracket's a little different. Maybe the stucco product we're using here is slightly different, but really this is all normal construction, but done in a really thoughtful way by Peter's team. So thanks a lot, brother.
Absolutely. I will say too, we're talking to builders. I'm personally this year, we're about to enter the build show. I'm bringing 20 architect friends.
Yes.
Because the architect world really cares about this as well.
Yeah.
We need this information
That's right.
in their head while we're designing. And so if you're an architect, please come to Build Show next year.
It's guys like you that are changing the industry, Peter. Your friends, your industry partners in this area are going to see this house and go, what is going on there? And he's going to get questions about this for years to come. Hey, buddy.
Matt, how are you?
Dude, this is quite a house. You don't know me, I'm Matt Reisinger.
And I'm Brent Hall.
And we're giving you the behind the scenes VIP tour of the Italian Revival. Brent, this is an absolute masterpiece, built by another master builder, but rebuilt by you, the modern day master builder.
This is a 1908 house that was built as well as a house could be built that time, right? The concrete floors all throughout, solid masonry walls, just 100-year products all over the place. I mean, it is stout. It's impressive.
And when I look at it, a good portion of what I'm seeing behind me is original to 1908 construction. How much? Like, is this, was this roof? This is a 10-year-old roof or something on here? When did this get replaced?
It's a Ludovici roof, so it's original, right? And so you're talking 15-year-old roof that looks brand new. I mean, it looks perfect.
I thought it was a new roof. That's a 100-plus-year-old Ludovici tile roof.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
So
what's the payback on that, Brent?
Well, the life cycle costs really reduce every year. It keeps going more and more, and so it's expensive, right, to put it up, but it lasts, 5 times as long.
Unbelievable.
It's an amazing product.
How about the brick, the windows, the trim, the overhangs that I'm seeing from the front?
Most of what you're looking at is original. Most of what you're looking at is true. There's been an addition on the side. That garage was added. There was an addition in the back, but most of this is all original. And so
pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
Beautiful, incredibly well built, stout. We got a lot to show you guys. Oh my gosh, Brent, this is quite the landing spot for a guest.
What an entry, right?
Oh my gosh. Now, when I look at this, I have no idea. Is this brand new white oak? Is this, all you did was put a coat of varnish on this? How much of this have you worked on?
Well, what's funny is it's all original, okay? But if I showed you what we experienced when we got here,
Started with.
You would be like, what? So we are standing in the original entry.
Okay.
All this woodwork, this quarter sawn white oak is original.
Wow.
Stairs, beamed, coffered ceiling. It's all original, but it was so gunked up. It was painted. There was all kinds of applied decoration over top of it. It was a hot mess. And
it was all painted, so they covered all that gorgeous white oak over the years.
Yes, and they put this decoration on top of it, which was completely inappropriate. So it just looked cheap. And when we started peeling it away, it was like, hey, we've got some pretty good stuff. This is oak. This is quarter sawn oak.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh. You think all of this is oak? I think so.
Sure
So
enough.
we started stripping away. And
This is not painted pine in here. This is super beautiful oak.
Yeah. No,
Now, tell me what's going on with this hole right here that has a plastic box. It kind of looks like there might be a speaker with a fabric grill going on there.
Yeah, so speaker technology has changed quite a bit. You can now actually place it behind drywall and place it behind even plywood, which is what's going to happen here. These are going to be speakers. There's actually 1, 2, 3, I think there's like 6 in here, and they're actually behind a oak panel, which is perforated so that sound can move through it. Tiny holes, and so this will, it'll look like there's nothing there, but there'll be sound.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, when I look up there where that speaker wire is, it looks like there was maybe plaster and some lath, and I'm actually seeing that a little bit here. Let's go look at this.
Yeah.
Can we see the studs as we look into here?
Well, you're looking at a solid masonry wall, and so there are no wood studs in this
There are no
house.
studs.
And so these walls are 16, 18 inches thick.
So this is considered triple wide masonry, something like that?
Yeah, exactly. And you'll see a mix, or there is a mix. I don't know if we'll see it, but there is structural clay tile blocks and brick. Okay, so it was a combination. That structural clay tile is typically something we see more in the 30s, but to see it in 1908, kind of he was just speaks to how cutting edge this was at that time.
And you still see in Europe structural clay tile buildings being built. Steve Basic, I saw a video that he made that was all German construction with structural clay tile. So it's a
English.
it's still a pretty typical construction in other parts of the world. But if you think about this house being solid masonry, you know, if the windows or doors leaked into a full brick 2-foot wide cavity, what's to go wrong? Right? Pretty incredible when it comes to durability. And then they have attached this old metal lath, you know, this 120-year-old lath, right on probably to the mortar joints. And then did a true plaster coat in there. That's amazing.
It's a well-built house.
Incredibly well built. Now, what are the floors? I'm seeing Advantech down. Do they use 2x10s, 2x12, solid lumber?
All floors, all 3 levels, even in the attic, is all concrete.
My gosh.
So if you go in the basement, look up, concrete floors. Go in the attic, look down, concrete floors. And so this is sleepers, and then this floor on top of it.
Okay, so this is so we get a little bit of more modern feeling cushion on the floor.
Exactly.
But in fact, it's actually solid concrete. I mean, they built this like a downtown building, didn't they?
It's exactly what they did.
Who was the, do you have any idea who the original?
Well, it's called the Baldridge House. And so there was a banker at the time, Mr. Baldridge, built the house. He actually owned, 2 lots that way, a lot and a half this way. So he kind of had this whole bluff, because you look, the Trinity River's down there, and so there's a bluff view that you can actually see out that way. So he had this whole property, and I think he was here for 10 or 15 years before it got bought and sold. But if you go down this stair right here, there's an old bank vault still in the house.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You're not going to see that today. This is going to give you a good feel for the house, but you got to come on future Build Show Lives to see it. But we will show you quite a bit of the construction, including this. Look at this incredible room. What, are we calling this a sunroom, I'm assuming?
So this is a family room. So these walls were not originally plastered, okay? And so, or paneled.
Okay.
And we took the panel detail. They wanted to elevate this room. And so we took the paneling that was actually in the entry there, copied it, and used that form to kind of create this space. That cornice wasn't here with that picture rail. And so we've kind of designed everything based on that original construction. But we've elevated this room with paneling. You had pretty good symmetry, because you have this fireplace on this door, those 2 windows on that door, right? You look down into this space, and so it was a formal space. And so we kind of kicked up a little bit with that paneling, full panel wall.
Let me ask you a couple nerdy questions. I'm seeing baseboard outlets. When you're thinking about new construction or renovation work, what's the purpose of the outlet at that location? Does it help kind of make it go away? Is that the idea?
It's a go-away thing.
Yeah.
Because one thing that drives me crazy is when you have an electrical panel and it's off center, and you're trying to establish all this symmetry and everything else, and then it doesn't work. And so
it looks to me like that outlet's actually almost right in the center of that panel. So
that's the idea. That's the idea.
Yeah,
so
well done, sir.
Yes, we're.
All right, now this is probably a dumb question for you, but for me, how do I figure out this chair rail height?
Well, that's funny you bring that up, because this house, like, one of my pet peeves is the chair rail at 36.
I know, I love this. That's why I brought it up.
And so this house doesn't conform to that. But why did we place the chair rail at this height? Well, part of what moldings are supposed to do is unify space and bring it all together. If I lower this chair rail down, 1, it starts getting in conflict with the chair rail that's out in the entry hall.
Okay. 2,
I've got a windowsill height in here that's established, that I'm trying to follow. Yep. And so by running in traditional houses or historical houses, the windowsill of a first floor window would be at the height of the pedestal in a classical space. And so I raised it up to match that windowsill so that it unifies the architectural details and kind of pulls everything together. Otherwise, if I lower it down 6 inches, then I'm having to create some weird panel to kick it up so that works. And
so this really set that
yes,
height in the
it
rest of
did.
the house,
It
which
did.
really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It unifies it, even if you don't realize what you're seeing, right? When you
Correct.
walk in, it feels like someone thought about it.
Yeah.
A little side note, by the way, when I did my personal build a couple years ago, I realized that Brent had done a bunch of historic moldings for this company right here, Windsor One, which this is not a historic molding, this is a one by. It's a really nice one by, but Brent, over the years, because he's such a master builder, has been tapped by companies like Windsor One to say, hey, how could we really make new spaces look old and old spaces look new? And that's one of the things I love about Brent. So if you're not familiar with Brent's work, you got to go check out. He's made, at this point, hundreds of videos on thebuildshow.com, really teaching you how to become that master builder. And in fact, that's the topic of tomorrow's VIP time, where we're going to get a shortened and abbreviated version of Brent's really multi-day, multi-builder seminar, or master builder seminar, pardon me. Now, while we're in here, Brent, I don't want to miss this, because this is something that's fascinating. As I look at the windows and doors here, they look like they've always been here. Let's look at these in particular. But in fact, these are actually a new window, aren't they?
Yes. And so basically about 60%, maybe 50% of the windows were still original, okay? They had a production window in here that was failing, so it had been in there about 20 years. They were beginning to fail, and we had the opportunity through historic photos to see what the outside of this looked like. And so we've gone back with these casements. In fact, there was a piece of hardware here that was notched in here that we're actually recreating, which was a crank.
Oh, neat.
And so there's a crank right here that's going to get these windows moving up and back. And if you look on the outside of these windows, there's a cavity space here where your hand is above the sill.
Gotcha. That's where the hardware will
That's where the
land.
hardware will actually sit there and open those windows in and out.
So is this painted poplar? What am I seeing here?
So we're using...
I baited him on that question.
We're using sapele, okay? We're using red granite, which is like a eucalyptus. And so we are using woods that are going to last a long time. We're also has started using linseed paints, because linseed paints actually, like Gore-Tex, they allow it to breathe. I think modern paints are too plasticky, and so they actually trap water. Linseed paint will actually let moisture move out of it.
The kind of vapor open, basically.
Vapor open. And so we're using that, and we think that between the good wood and good paint, we've got easily a 100-year product.
Yeah, we don't have old growth, 200-year-old pine trees to cut down anymore, or long leaf.
Yeah.
So Brent's been really smart about saying, okay, what woods can we get that are more readily available, that are really going to last? And so much so that this window is from his company. He's got another business that he calls the 100-year, is it the 100yearwindow.com? Is that the right website?
Yep.
The 100yearwindow.com? Say that correctly?
I believe it is the 100-year window.
So you can actually order millwork from Brent's company, windows and doors, for your new construction or your remodel project, whether you're building really anywhere in North America.
Well, I mean, we were talked about the roof out there, but that's really the way we're looking at the window, that if a production window is a 20-year, maybe 30-year window at most, ours being designed to 100 years, we're probably twice as expensive as a production window, but we last 4 to 5 times long. That life cycle cost that we were talking on the roof, all of a sudden it becomes cheap. And so for the right client, it's a great product.
Not only that, but there's a certain quality that's going to be really hard to talk about on video. But when you come on this VIP tour, these people are going to touch and feel, operate, see the house. There's something about these windows that just feels right.
Yeah.
They feel like you can't tell if they're a 100-year-old window or they literally came off the woodworking line yesterday. And these did come off the woodworking line, maybe not yesterday, but 6 months ago.
I think it's like 4 or 5 little subtle things that make a difference. One is just the depth of the profile, right? That you're getting 1 inches of actually wood there. That when you have insulated glass, those windows, that profile shrinks because they don't have enough room in the sash. We're 1 3/4 to 2 1/4 inch wide on our sash, so you really get a depth of profile. And you're right. They feel good when you hold them and touch them.
Side note for my building science nerds, see where we're standing right here? This is attached to a 5-ton air conditioner outside. We're in a hot, humid climate. We got a lot of woodwork in this house. There's a lot of painting. There's poplar right in front of us here. There's sapele here. There's poplar here. When we paint this, we want this wood to feel like it's in a finished air-conditioned house. And so Brent's team has, like my team, a couple of these 5-ton units they bring in. We air condition the house temporarily, and now my hardwood floors, all my woodwork, they stay at a constant moisture content and they don't move and change. Had we not conditioned this house during construction, moved people in and then turned on the AC and the dehumidifier, everything would shrink, all my caulk joints would break, my woodwork would change, the house would look dramatically different. So now when Brent moves his homeowner into this house, they're gonna move into a house that has felt like it's been in a conditioned space the entire time. It makes a huge difference. That's such a minor thing that you may have overlooked, but when you come on a job site tour, you're like, wait a minute, no one does this. Why are you doing this? It's worth the money to spend on that.
There's an efficiency thing as well. I mean, that, you know, everybody's working in a cooler, nicer space.
For sure.
You know, there's some efficiency for that as well.
And your subs want to come to this job site too.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go out to the Rotunda area and see what's next on the next stop on the tour.
Yeah.
I've been out here for 6 months. Oh my gosh. Wow, Brent. Look at this space. Dang. Walk me through it. What's this going to look like when it's all done?
Well, what we did was we're actually got a fireplace going right where that framing is going.
Okay.
And so that fireplace is on center with the front door. So you come in the front door and you're actually going to look through and see the fireplace under that stair landing. We had to change, Stuart changed all the spacing of these columns. And so we have, laid this out in a very pretty way. We looked at the front and said, there's the kind of quality that we want. We had to fight to get big, cut stone, full length, so they're not cut in sections, so you don't see these mortar lines. And so, getting those things there, and you see a column half there. We've got glass inserts, so you see that black frame going around there.
Okay.
Those windows that were sitting in there are actually going to go into, there's going to be 4 windows in there. So it's going to be hopefully pretty invisible as far as seeing through here. So it should be this big open air rotunda, much like it feels right now.
Dang.
That's the way we hope it feels.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Will there be a view into the stairwell too, so you can see it when you come through the stairwell?
Comes down. We finally settled on a baluster. We're changing the baluster, and that's changing.
Oh, so these were mock-ups on what to do on the baluster.
These are mock-ups, and those are original, but they kind of have a Victorian look, and they wanted something heavier that kind of matches the strength of that.
They feel a little spindly, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. So
I like the thicker.
Yeah.
And look at the steelwork too, y'all. I mean, we got a giant steel beam here that actually looks more like a steel truss, doesn't it? And then we got a bunch of beams and columns holding up all this outside. This is
a steel truss.
This was a lot of steel work to get all this done and opened up. That's amazing. What was this before? Was this open air porch before?
Historic, we've got a picture that there was a low balustrade here, but this is all open air.
Okay.
And so I guess the doors are back there.
Yep. So between mosquitoes and
someone
heat,
put a fireplace in there.
This was not used year round like it could be today.
So I'm talking going back to probably 60, 70 years. Probably within the last 40 or 50 years, they closed this space in.
Okay, gotcha.
And they had a fireplace there, and some gunky stuff in there. One story I heard was that when one of the owners they had all these moldings in here, and the owner had gone up there and spray painted them gold, so it looked like it had gold leaf moldings. So there is a kind of a wonky history at points. And so anyway,
that's awesome. I love it. Let's keep going on the tour. We'll head back towards the kitchen space. Let you guys keep working back here.
Yeah.
Now, Brent, we don't have any carvings on site today, I don't think. But one of the tour stops that will be ready for tomorrow is you actually have a master carver on staff, don't you?
Correct. We have a Ukrainian carver that we met on Facebook 20 years ago and started a relationship. I started sending him things. He would carve it and send it back, and blew my mind.
Wow.
And worked a long time, got him here at Hull. and he's now doing a lot of carving
Has it been
for us.
5 years ago? 4 years ago?
You know, it was the year before the Ukraine war, so probably 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he came before the war started.
Just about a year before that started.
Dang.
So,
That's
but yeah,
amazing.
now his wife's here, and so it's worked out great. And we've got a coat of arms that he's carved here. There's a tons of things that he's done. In English style houses, we've got some strap carving he's done. French carving, he does that, and so
bunch of egg and dart moldings
bunch
too,
of egg and
right?
dart stuff. Yep. So
That's beautiful.
yeah, he's going to be working on this side doing the coat of arms. We've got a study going in there. It has all egg and dart and all these different moldings over top of it. It's really getting that next level where you're not doing decorator supply, you're not doing gunked up kind of cheesy stuff that was actually in this space. It just be authentic, and it should be pretty magical.
Amazing, amazing. Let's keep walking this way, Brent. I want to get your master builder take on hardwood floors. I'm noticing you got a bunch of covered floors here.
Yep.
On a house that's 100 years old. Actually, it looks to me like maybe some of these have been in the house. Is that a 100-year-old piece of oak? No, okay. So these were floors that were put down by somebody over the years.
Yeah.
And are you putting, this looks like new oak that you brought onto the job
probably
site.
going into the kitchen.
Is there a mixture of some old and some new here?
Well, in these old areas, because really you get on the other side of that wall or the other side of that wall, and you're in new spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So most of this original stuff is all original wood floors.
Okay.
And then when we go back here, we've got new floors that are going in that were just matching wood floors, oak floors.
And are these underneath our feet? We've got a bunch of Ramboard, which is an Icon brand of protection. Cool that they logoed it for us with the Bill logo,
cool?
wasn't it? But are these floors finished, or are these floors being protected to finish later?
They're being protected to finish later.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that'll be one of the very last things you do. Is
be one of the very
site
last
finish the
things.
floors.
We are. I know some people put in floors sooner than others, but we're usually installing the floor, covering it, then we're putting our molding and trim and other things. I did one video where I was talking, and it appears a lot of people put their trim in and then butt their wood floors up to it.
That's 90% of America in new
Really?
construction. That's all I did when I was in the production builder world.
Interesting.
And then you'd have a giant shoe molding on every.
And they were like, how
part of the
are
house.
you covering the gap? And I was like, what gap? And they were like, the gap where it hits the baseboard. And I was like,
There is no gap.
there's
The
no
gap's
gap.
underneath the baseboard.
Yeah, so that was a good discovery when I did that. So.
Yeah, I love it. And you look at a house like this that has gorgeous trim and base.
Right.
So then your carpenters
and
are actually.
I don't like using shoe molds, so that keeps me from having to put shoe mold in.
Oh my gosh! Look here, we can see the side of your. Oh my gosh! Is that wood?
Yeah.
What is that?
Monster wood.
Wow, that's amazing. That is a seriously beefy piece of. Oh, look, it's loose. We can actually see it.
So when we're doing.
So look at that. Look at that cope joint his
nice
carpenter
cope
did.
there.
And look how thick that is.
So when we do
Golly,
wood
that is a
floors,
big piece of poplar.
When we do base, I would much rather do a thick base than a tall base.
Yep.
And so they had fairly tall bases, but they weren't quite as thick as this. And so,
Beautiful.
yeah.
And you put a coat of paint on that, and then they've sanded afterwards, and then they're going to come and put another coat
Correct.
of paint. And you can see that the carpenters probably scribed this to the floor as well, so that it'll meet some changes in the floor. Although this floor feels pretty solid. I don't think we've got a lot of humps in here,
Pretty straight.
but it feels pretty good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Big thanks to Icon for sponsoring the tour, by the way. And then as we come back through this way, we're actually coming back into this brand new kitchen space, right?
Yep. And we got new 100-year windows that were all just kind of open pane. But one thing we're trying to do is you saw that very formal coffered ceiling in the front.
Yep.
We wanted to remind people that we're still in that same house, but this is a more rustic, version of the beam ceiling.
Boy, that's a beautiful
and so
ceiling.
We've got, the oak planking behind, and then those solid antique oak beams there. So
Wow.
you're feeling like you're in the same house, but it's a different hierarchy, right?
Yeah. What will you do for cabinetry in here? Will you make your own? Will you buy this from an outside company?
We've started building cabinets again.
Okay.
And so we'd stopped building them for a while. We got a new team down at the shop that actually has a ton of cabinet experience. And so we're not building these cabinets, But we have a standard that kind of a whole standard for cabinetry, 1 inch to 1 1/8 inch thick doors, just different details, inset doors, obviously, and no overlay. And so we feel like we've got a standard that we give to other companies, and they'll build our cabinets. Now we're going to be building them ourselves.
I have flush inset at my house, and I absolutely think it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I
do
love
too.
that look.
It's a furniture look. In
It's
my
a furniture
opinion.
look.
Hood there, no uppers. This is a wall of refrigerator and stuff on this wall. All there is a hood here, no uppers. This is a peninsula that comes out here. There'll be a big island in the middle.
Well, you can tell how much has happened over the years between this diagonal subfloor,
all the
some
patches
OSB
and
patching that I can't imagine was your crew that put the OSB patching down.
No.
Some original concrete.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some layers on this 100-year-old house. You know, you think about a house that's 100 years old. For sure, the kitchen's been remodeled a couple times, but not always bedrooms or living room spaces. Sometimes you've got original 100-year-old walls with no insulation and standard construction from 100 years ago. And frankly, that's one of the reasons why those old houses have really lasted. Is because they were able to absorb water and moisture when the windows leaked into the wall and then dry over the winter time with the air leakage. So there's a lot to be learned from these 100-year-old houses. And it's one of the reasons why I love the fact that Brent's willing to show us on the tour, because we've got a real mix at Build Show Live of folks that are doing brand new high-end construction, brand new medium construction, renovation work. There's always something to be learned from a project like this.
100%.
That being said, guys, we'll meet you upstairs. We got more to show you upstairs. See you in a sec.
So now you're looking at the back wall of that rotunda we were looking at. So this is all going to be all open to that rotunda.
Gotcha. So you're going to see all that when you come
pretty
through.
balustrade, and you'll see that great light in coming into this space.
Beautiful. I'm curious, your rail doesn't meet current guardrail standards. Will they let you keep that because it's original?
Yeah.
That's great. I'm thankful to hear that. Oh my gosh, Brent. Look at the reflection.
You don't need a mirror on the ceiling anymore. Just put a high finish in there.
That's incredible. Is that plaster that's been painted? And that's how they were able to get that beautifully smooth. Dang, and what is the paint we're looking at in here?
It's like the fine paints of Europe type, that high gloss, high.
This isn't linseed based though necessarily? Okay.
We only use that on the exterior.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Look at that dental detail on that crown. Wow.
Yeah, so there's...
This is gorgeous.
we think this crown was original. There's a lot of gunked up crown, but we do believe this is an original one.
So this is a guest room actually in the house. Boy, I want to be a guest in this house. Look at this room.
Look at the size of this.
Dang, this is a big guest room. What's through here? Is this bathroom space?
Bathroom and closet.
More Windsor One trim.
That's right.
It's good. Oh my gosh, look at that shower.
Isn't that cool?
That's spectacular. I like how it's gonna feel like, now is this new shower or did this get renovated? It has a
100%.
very 100-year-old look to it.
I agree.
That's neat.
Yeah, I think that slab does that.
Yeah, that's neat. I like that. That's cool. And then this is all built-in millwork in the closet space.
A lot of this was here, and we didn't have to change much.
Yeah,
But we
this
did
is
change
gorgeous.
the bathrooms, the tiles, the finishes, all that.
What's the pan underneath here? How are you waterproofing that out of curiosity?
There's a Schluter system underneath there. And,
Killer.
And then that's concrete over top of it.
Okay, nice. Man, Brent, what a house.
And I got one more thing to show you. Got a great detail going on in the master closet.
Cool.
So now we're moving down to the master wing, and this is kind of that entry point. Great window looking west.
Oh man, wow.
And now we're back here in the master area. Got her closet, got his bathroom and closet.
Oh my gosh.
Check this out.
What do we got here? Little pocket door action?
So my,
This is the real door that's going on, right? I know how you love hollow core doors.
we're,
I couldn't even, he can't even hold it in. He's about to punch me.
yeah, so
Ooh, soft close. I like it.
So we, you turned me on to these guys.
Yeah, this is cavity slider, right?
This is cavity slider, and
see one little section right
I'm
there.
talking to my guys in the production meeting. And I said, hey, we want to try this product out, and
They're like, oh, I don't know about that.
they're kind of pushing back. Here goes Brent again. This thing gets dropped in here. They put it together, and Stuart, who's running this job, is like, dude, that thing is awesome. It sets up square, went in great. They lined it out. It's solid. It's sturdy. Impressive.
A lot of modern hardware sucks. This is the opposite of that. This is awesome.
Exactly.
I have like 9 pocket slider, different configurations in my house. 4 or 5 years later, they work like the day I installed them. They're so satisfying. Now they've got soft close both directions. So you notice this soft open, soft close. So it even, Brent's got high standards, and it even meets his standards.
Well, Stuart even said, actually, I want to take out the ones that I put in downstairs, and we're actually going to put 2 more in there. So
Fabulous.
yeah, they're big sell.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
big thanks to
love
Cavity
that.
Slider. They've been longtime friends of the Build Show. They got great stuff. It's probably cavitysliders.com or something like that. I'm sure you can see it in the description below. Brent, amazing work.
Thanks for coming.
What's so fun about your jobs is you come to a project of yours, and I can't tell, is this a 100-year-old house that looks beautiful again, or is this a brand new house that looks like it's a 100-year-old renovation? And I've said that at every project I've been to. He does a mixture of renovation, of brand new stuff. He is literally the master builder that's teaching the general public his knowledge. And so go check out Brent. He's on Instagram all the time, at Hull Homes, Hull Millwork. He's on thebuildshow.com. You've been an incredible partner. You've been around since the beginning of the Build Show when we started our website 5-6 years ago now. And everything we do is free for you guys to come see. However, you got to pay for the VIP pass. You got the free tour. Next year, come to the actual tour so you can pay for it. You get to meet Brent and I in person. Big thanks for all your support, guys. And by the way, the rest of the Build Show live event is being recorded as well. So if you missed this tour or you missed some of the other stuff, go check out our website so you can see the rest of that. With that being said, guys, follow us on Instagram or Facebook. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on the Build Show.
Be a Build Show Live VIP and join us on site in San Antonio, September 10th through 12th, 2026.